Lord of all creation, I thank you for blessing me with a strong enough voice and the ability to articulate my thoughts in service of you. I thank you for all the people out there listening. And I pray that anyone who hears this message and who wants to find the truth of it all, I pray that you nudge their hearts and spirits in the right direction. All right. There's the three most common ways that a person can engage or attract demons to them is drugs, alcohol, and occult magic. And sometimes the demons, when they come, they'll come bringing gifts. They may write a song for you, throw the song in your lap. For instance, if you look at a lot of the music that came out in the 60s and the 70s, dealing with the hippie movement, the psychedelics, the funk, the early rock music, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, all of that, a lot of those people will come out and just flat out tell you that, yeah, when we did this, we were under the heavy influence of drugs and alcohol, and we saw spirits. And a lot of them, even to this day, talk about selling their souls to the devil. Why is that such a common theme? And yeah, I bet it is fun for a while. It is fun for a while, but it also can destroy you in the process. When you look at how the lives of a lot of these people ended, suicide, you talking about drug overdoses at a very early age. And so, yeah, they may write a song for you. They may give you an idea for a movie or a piece of technology. But when they feel like you've outlived your usefulness to their satanic agenda, they'll try to get rid of you, as they almost did to me, because you're looking at a guy who used to experiment with all of that. Yeah, that's right. I had dreams about being a music star. I used to indulge in heavy drugs and alcohol for the sake of contacting spirits. And believe me, they came about. They came through. I've seen many crazy things that I won't get into in this video. But when they feel like you've outlived your usefulness, they will try to get rid of you. But before I get ahead of myself with the whole satanic agenda, I'll explain what that is in a minute. First, let's address the topic, demons. Now, if we look at the word demon itself, okay, the word demon is broken down into a simple prefix and a suffix. You have D, which means off, away from, or out of, which is why it shows up in words like degrade, deficient, descend, deduce, because it represents a decline or the fall of something, right? And then you have the suffix mon, which shows up in words like admonished, monument, monitor, all dealing with the mind, by the way. When you admonish someone, you're advising and urging them not to do something, otherwise there will be consequences. It's wisdom. A monument is a symbol that serves as a reminder of the significance of something or someone. A monitor can be a person or a device that checks or records the progress of something, usually in a professional environment, with a serious connotation to it, dealing with the mind again. All right. And so when we look at that, when we put those two terms together, D and mon, what you have there is a force that plays against the mind. And in other words, you got something that will drive you crazy. What's another word for chaos and mayhem? Pandemonium. Pandemon. Everything is everything. So that's how demon is broken down in English. But we should all know by now that English is not the original language. It's actually a bastardized amalgamation of a lot of other languages that came before it. One of those that we'll look at today is the Greek language. And we'll look at how their culture viewed it prior to Christianity and widespread monotheism. Now, based on what the Greeks and how the Romans, based on what they left behind, it's clear that they had some understanding of the spirit world. And from an etymological perspective, demons to us would be something called daimons or daemons to them. Now, what's interesting about the daemons is that not all of them carried an evil connotation. It's actually a bit more complicated than how we view them today. It referred to what they considered to be a wide range of supernatural or spiritual beings, such as elemental spirits like gnomes, fairies, elves, salamanders, sylphs. You got spirit gods in there. You got demigods. You got what was believed to be the ghost of dead people. All of that you can fit into the category of daimons to them. Now, some of them were holy according to their standard of holiness at that time, and some of them were neutral and some of them were bad. And that whole polytheistic mindset reigned supreme until basically Judeo-Christianity came along and emerged and said, no, all of this is evil. Okay? The common consensus, a common consensus, began to rise about that time about the pagan gods of old who were worshipped throughout millennia. Judeo-Christianity basically came through and said, no, that all of these beings that y'all been worshiping, these pagans, all of them are fallen angels who rebelled against the one true God, Yahweh Elohim. And they came to earth, they set up camp, they gave humans technology that we were not supposed to have, so we can look up to them as God instead of the true creator. They made it with humans, produced all sorts of genetic anomalies such as the Nephilim, who would later on go on to become the demons or the evil spirits in biblical lore. You can read about that in Genesis chapter 6 and the first book of Enoch, chapter 6 to 15, which I'm pretty sure you can find online for free at this point. And that gives, in my opinion, it gives the most detailed, convincing account of how evil spirits came about. It just makes the most sense to me. All right. It also says that these evil spirits are bound to the earth, endlessly stuck in a trance of hunger and thirst, continuously seeking souls which they can devour. Human souls. And why humans? Why are they so hostile towards us? Because they were once part human themselves. And this ties back into the whole satanic agenda that I mentioned earlier. Their whole goal, since they rebelled against their creator and can no longer access the highest heaven, the highest ether, their whole goal is to usurp the throne of God and create a kingdom for themselves on earth through every form of perversion that you could ever imagine. And they've been successful at that, which is why the Bible calls Satan the god of this world. All right. And I know a lot of y'all got issues with the Bible. You got issues. You got issues with Jesus, even though he ain't never did nothing to y'all. But when I look at what's happening in the world today with a lot of these events, they seem to line up biblically. I'm just saying. So you might want to take heed and give Bible a second thought. When I look at what's happening with technology like CERN, CERN, who is a shadow organization in Switzerland. On the surface, they seem to be studying what? Atoms, even though they never really go into detail about what they're doing. But one of the things that they are doing, and you can look this up for yourself, is that they consistently, they have demonic rituals at their facilities. That's right, you can look that up. They also have a statue of Shiva, the god of destruction, at their headquarters. What are they doing? When I look at the progression of artificial intelligence, and believe you me, it will progress into something that is, at the end of the day, anti-human, anti-nature. UFO sightings, fallen angels, politics. When I look at all the destruction taking place in the Middle East, is that all biblical? The violence, the sexual perversion that we see taking place in the LGBTQ community, the confusion. These are all things that was happening in the days of Noah. All right. When I look at what's happening with all these musical artists, with all this satanic messaging in their music, in their videos, why are they always mocking the Christian God? Why is that? All right. So I'm just connecting the dots here. All right. Don't hate me. I'm just a messenger. And so that's the end of my presentation for today. I want y'all to let me know, did I miss anything? Do you subscribe to the biblical conception of demons? Is it deeper than that? Is what's happening in the world today, does it correlate with the biblical narrative, or is it all just a coincidence to you? I'm just saying. All right, so I hope y'all be blessed. Have a blessed day. Seek the truth and be well. Thank you for listening in, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye.